Well, it is remodel number 4.
Brr, it's cold.
Sure, it's chilly.
Where are we going?
34 degrees.
Yes. A lovely March day. Still snow on the ground.
Well, we've got a deadline coming up.
All right, let's get moving then.
All right.
We'll tell them along the way.
Okay, let's go. First, donuts, though.
Of course. I thought we were getting donuts first. We're getting gas first.
Well, 2 for 1.
Oh, gas and then donuts?
Yeah.
It's our favorite place. What are you doing?
Got my wallet.
Excellent.
It's in my pocket.
You have learned your lesson well, haven't you? Oh my word. Dough belly waiting to happen.
Dough belly donuts.
Road trips are always fun. Wow, we got a receipt this time.
At the pump.
At the pump.
Well, it is remodel number 4.
We're not getting a new rig, are we?
No. It's a renovation.
Oh.
So after our trip down to Texas, and when Kim hurt her leg and it was difficult for her to get back in your back into the back bed, we decided to try a new design back there. And so this is going to be in conjunction with rearranging our electrical system that's blocking some of our floor back there. So that's going to be coming up, and then a rebuild inside the van.
Lots of new features. A lot more expensive features, but I think it'll give us more traveling mercies in warm weather, if you know what we're talking about. Where are we?
We're at Home Depot.
The big orange building.
The big orange building.
Our old friend.
That takes our credit cards. Well, as Kim showed you before, there's nothing in the back of the van.
There will be after this, I bet.
Well, yeah, we'll have some materials. We're buying some plywood and some lumber, and
there's a huge checklist here. I'm really nervous what this is going to cost. Oofta.
Life savings and birch plywood.
Do you have everything you need?
Almost. We're looking at just getting a few hardware items. A butch block, got birch ply for the beds, and a 1/2 inch for making some of the other cabinets. Some miscellaneous stuff. We're good. Well, that escalated quickly. My goodness. So that's up. Just make sure.
And now, the after.
Oh.
I did it.
Balance is a tough thing for older people. I know we haven't had any cocktails. We're starting a new van series, and we're a little crazy. That's why we're acting weird.
Why are you doing that?
I'm cold.
Okay. So follow along with us as we go through our van remodel, or what would you call it? Van makeover.
Before
You're supposed to
and
go like this.
With all that building material tucked safely into our garage, it was time to put pencil to paper and try to figure out how to best use all the material, taking measurements and trying to map out all the new components that we're planning on putting in our van, including twin beds, a kitchen with a sink, and the toilet box. Just finished kind of roughly taping out dimensions and measurements inside the van with the new layout. Right over in here will be my bed. Over in here, a little bit shorter, is Kim's bed. Come over here, this will all be removed and relocated underneath this part of the bed box. And then this section here will hold an elevated refrigerator and our toilet. So I got to bring the toilet in, see how that's going to fit. Over here will be our kitchen. We will use 2 tanks, one for gray, one for fresh water. Trash can will be on a flip down, but I don't know, that's taking up a lot of space. And then our 1 burner butane. So this would be the kitchen, the sink would be on top, a fold up counter extension, and that bangs right up into the bed. So this is our only free open space here. So this area in here where the bluey is sitting, this will be a connection between the 2 beds, kind of a hand-holding nightstand area. Probably store water underneath it. This is the drawer from our old setup, and I'm gonna try to see if I can't rework it either on this side, probably this side, because over here I'm gonna build an enclosure for our small propane tank that we take out to use, and lower this down so the bed can sit right on top of this, and we'll still have use of this drawer for something. Once we got a basic idea of the layout inside the van, it was time to pull everything back out, take up the flooring and patch the holes in the floor from the last setup we had. Make sure those are all sealed up good and tight. Then it was time to go back into the garage and start mapping out how we were going to cut all of our precious expensive plywood. And the other thing that I do is, using graph paper, I draw out a somewhat to scale drawing of a piece of plywood with rough measurements, and then it shows me how much I have to work with, and so I can utilize that whole piece is most efficiently. Old school, a lot of people are using computer aided design and things, but graph paper, a pencil, and a ruler works pretty good. Close enough for what we're doing. So that's how we map it out to try to get the most use out of a piece of plywood. So what I'm doing is I'm using a aluminum straight edge as my cutting guide for my skill saw, and I have to allow for 1.5 inches between the outside guide and where the blade actually goes. So I've got that marked, and it just uses C-clamps to clamp in place.
And then that gives me a nice straight line. Stepping into the plywood confessional. We've decided that we like the design of our Vegas 24-1 with the twin beds in the back, and we're going to be returning to that twin bed configuration in the van. And so to do that, we've taken out the Adventure Wagon Moab bed platform, and I want to utilize the L-track system that's already in the van as anchor points for each twin bed, or I guess it'd be kind of a twin. They're going to be 78 on my side by 25 and 70 by 25 on Kim's side, and then inside the boxes will be additional storage with lift up lids, and on my side of the van, the forward section of the bed box will contain our batteries and all our electronics and things. So we've moved that off of the floor in the living room part of the van, and we're going to be having that done by a solar company in Minnesota, which is only about 3 hours from us. So that's kind of the plan of what's going on. And so right now I'm just kind of trying to figure what's the best way of doing that and use the least amount of materials to save a few bucks here and there. One of the benefits of getting a bunch of stuff from Amazon, you got lots of cardboard around before you recycle it. I'm using some leftover cardboard to make a full-size template, making sure that my calculations are correct and that this will fit in the spot where I'm planning on it before I go ahead and cut a very expensive piece of plywood. I want to make sure that I'm not going to screw it up. Alright, it took some futzing, but I've got a nice, good fit on the cardboard, so transfer that onto the plywood. It's a little bit futzy, but I'd much rather be futzing with a piece of cardboard than carrying a heavy piece of plywood back and forth and from the shop out to the van, cutting a little bit, bringing it back out, that type of thing. So I can use this now as a pretty accurate template for cutting my plywood. And before I start going to town with the old, where is it? Oh, right here. With the old jigsaw, I want to make sure that I'm perfectly confident with the lines for my cut. So what I do is I go and get myself a cup of coffee and ponder it for a little bit.
Plenty of room.
It's like planning for a Swiss Army knife. It's just plan after plan after plan, drawing after drawing, and then going out to the van and seeing if what you actually think will actually fit in there. And for the most part, it's not. Or we're trying to figure out how to put stuff in there that's easily accessible, that's not going to be always in the way or always need to be moved out of the way in order to get something else. So that's why we're really, I guess, going a little bit overboard on how to lay out the garage area and under the bed storage, so we get the most storage bang for the buck.
Well,
Good morning, Kim.
good morning. I'm off to work,
Yep.
but I got home late last night and didn't get to see the progress from yesterday, so I want to see it. What are you doing?
Well, you got to make some decisions here
Oh,
on
boy.
what we're putting in inside. I kind of took some of this stuff out, but as you can see, the rough outline here of the bed boxes.
Yep.
And then,
You did awesome at this. That looks awesome down in there over that template worked well.
thank you. Then I'm going to cut this one and put this one in. It's got some bump outs there that need to be handled. Here's the slide that'll hold our bluey and
Yep.
some other stuff. So,
This is the trouble corner, isn't it?
kind of is.
Figure out where to put what where. We figured out that you sent me a picture yesterday at work, and you had the drawer and a bin underneath there that fit perfectly. So that's good. I like that. And that leaves a little spot right by the wheel well that we can use for storage. Trying to maximize the storage because we're losing that garage space from the platform bed.
Right.
I think we need a shelf for the chairs to sit on so that you don't have to unload everything to get things out. And that's the trick, right? Is so you don't have to unload everything just to get to one thing at the bottom. So my thought is if we put the chairs on the bottom with a shelf up there, then this stuff could stay there. And could we reach this out? Oops. Can we reach this out, to get it out like this way?
Yeah, that's going to be the little pinch point there with the propane tank, is to be able to pull it out once the bed platform is secured in place. And then up in this area, that's going to be all our battery banks and electronics and things like that. So there's another idea: building the box around the propane tank, maybe even pulling it farther this way, building a platform there, putting the stove on that. We'd still be able to sneak it out here, get the chairs out, and then we can access our Coleman oven that is Kim figured out. You could just tuck it back in that alcove there. So I think that's maybe the plan.
sit down for a second. Working on the bed box. This is my side of the van, and in the process of putting in some center supports, which will keep this plywood together and also give support for the bed platform that's going on top. One of the issues is, I don't know if you can see it, but this piece of plywood here has got a real bad bow in it. So I'm going to try to, with these center braces, to straighten that up. And then down in this area here, it's the pull-out drawer unit. So hopefully I'll be able to tie that end in and get a nice solid and straight line. Also using the L-track, I just got these barely in just to hold up this back panel, but I've drilled and recessed the L-track bolts back there to hold that in, and when everything's tied together, that should hold this whole bed unit in place. Here's Kim's side of the bed, and you can see here the L-track, and that's what we'll be drilling and tying that in to there as well. And you see me using the Craig jig or the pocket hole jig to shoot some holes in here. That way when this goes in between the plywood, I can shoot a hole down in there and hopefully get that nice and snug. Special Craig screws. If you've seen these or used these before, they have a nice little built-in washer and they're self-tapping, so they work pretty good. Making sure everything's nice and square and straight. Let's do this. So I've got the drawer component in, we've got the sides and the back installed, and the dividers and some support pieces. I need to go over to the lumber yard and get some more 2x2s, especially for the other side here. But other than that, it's starting to look like a van in here. Well, it's not fun to talk about, but it's a necessity of van life, and that is the toilet. We have ourselves a Thetford porta potty, and I'm in the process of working on a platform for our refrigerator, storage underneath there, and then fitting the porta potty into a box that will have a lid. And then the other thing about this whole deal is that we want to be able to store our lagoon table in that little area behind the toilet. And we're trying to figure out, or I'm trying to figure out, do we have a fold up top? Because when this is closed, we want to use it as a seat in the van, like a lot of people do. Or do we have it fold up this way, which will be a little bit easier
because I'm not sure how to get a piece across the back there and still have a slot to get the table pin up and out. We talked about just a pull out or a lift off lid, but then you got to have some place to set the lid. And anytime you have something that you have to take off and put someplace else, that somewhere else is always going to be in the way. So I'm thinking a hinged deal. The toilet will be offset because there's the flush handle there. We need to be able to sneak our hand down inside there to flush. So these are some leftover scrap pieces that I'm using just to kind of give a idea of the framing for the toilet box. This whole section between the edge here and the edge there is 4 feet. So the bed is here, the driver's seat is here, so it has to wedge in between there as well. So after some discussions, we've decided that the table, we just don't want that there because we need some storage behind the toilet for toilet paper and cleaning, things like that. So that's going to go down there. And then I've got the box roughly cut out and in place. I'm going to attach the corners and the back, get that hooked up, and then we can go from there. Yes.
What's going to be about the cheapest that we'll have? It's going to be the Royal. Still a good paint. That's primer more. Step up's going to be the orange can. It's like a Kensington there. And then about equal, look like a Kensington. It's going to be the Benjamin Moore. Ben.
Well, looks like we're done with phase 2 of the toilet box and refrigerator stand. And then we got to figure out lids and a door for the toilet box, which is right here. And the refrigerator will sit up there. So going to drive around a little bit with it in place and get an idea of how it's riding and how it's going to be, just to kind of dink around back here. I wanted to utilize the L-track system that was already in place when we bought the van. So here I'm measuring where the bolts are going to go, and it uses the special L-track bolts and these clips to hold the bolts in place. They're a little bit shaky, so I use some blue painter's tape just to keep them in place until I can get them marked. And I use an old paint pen, yellow one, just happen to have that one around, to mark the ends of the bolts. I put a good dab of the paint on there, just letting it get into the inside of the bolt. And then with the paint on the bolt, I push the backboard into the bolts and give them a good pounding to set them in place, to indent the back of the piece of plywood, and there you see how it leaves a mark. So the bolts that I'm using are 7/8, and the washers that I'll use are 7/8. Then I use a small bit to drill a pilot hole on the back side where the mark is. Get that chucked up and drill a pilot hole right dead center in the middle of my bolt marking. Then after that, we flip the wood over and use that pilot hole to guide your 7/8 drill bit in there, and just go about halfway. Then I'll use a 5/16 inch drill bit to remount that center section so it will clear the bolts that I'm using. And that gives you a recessed bolt and nut area. And then put your piece back in, bolt slip right in, and then you have a really nice clean hole, and then put your nut on. Well, we are making progress, slow but sure, on some of the cabinets in the van. Been working on the refrigerator toilet cabinet that you see behind me here. Let me step out of the way. And right in here is where the toilet will go. It'll have a it'll have a lid there. And then down in this area, this will be some 4 drawers pulling out. Right in here is where the refrigerator is going to sit. So making a little progress. Had some other things to do today, but had to go get another piece of 5/8 plywood to do some of the work. And then coming up this weekend, we're going to be taking the van up to have all the big installs done. So that's kind of exciting work too. So we're looking forward to that. Here's the pile of stuff that's going to be getting hauled up and taken and put it in the van. So a lot of exciting things happening right now with the van. So stay tuned. We'll keep you informed unless you know how to handle a screwdriver, and then maybe we'll put you to work. I'm trying to get done, but everything just keeps going around in circles. It's always a shame sometimes to put paint over beautiful wood, but this is going to be kind of a different look for the inside of our van this time. We're going to have painted cabinetry, and this is going to be an accent color of orange. So we're in the middle of episode 5 of our
5?
Yeah, of our DIY van remodel, and we were talking a little bit about the color orange.
Groovy, baby!
You know, it's silly, but I kind of like the orange little pull things on our upper bag things. It's a detail that Adventure Wagon put on there, and it's cheerful.
Yep.
And I thought, let's just get a little crazy.
You like orange?
I like orange. It was a color that was in my bedroom as a kid,
I know.
along with yellow and green, you know, 70s.
Groovy, baby.
It was.
Yeah.
So we have decided to go bold. It won't be crazy, I don't think.
Well, what we're talking about is just doing some trim work around our new cabinets
accent
that we're
thing.
building, and then use some wood tones and things.
So you kind of match the bag and the decor otherwise in the van here, this
Right.
shirt. So imagine this. We're hoping it doesn't look too Halloween. Halloween's not our favorite holiday.
No.
But I do like the orange thing, so I think it might be bright and cheerful. And I like the name of the paint color. It's called Bonfire Nights.
See? Perfect.
Camping, right?
Perfect. Brr, I gotta tell you, for almost the end of April, it is freaking cold and windy today. So it's causing me to have to do some other things. I was planning on doing a little bit of priming and painting, but it's just so cold the paint's not going to dry very well. I did do this though. I'm starting the kitchen cabinet, and kind of proud of that scribing, because you don't realize how curved the inside of the vans are until you try to put a square piece of wood up against the walls of the van. So the bed's kind of 2 beds and the center section kind of in disarray right now. And then this will be the end with a backsplash area just to keep, because the sink's going to be here, the water tank's down in there, countertop in here, and some drawers and all sorts of fun stuff. So that's to come. So now we're going to head up to, what is it? Turkey Lake.
No, the other meat. Ham.
Oh,
Lake.
yeah. Thanksgiving town.
That's Easter. Thanksgiving is turkey.
All right. Anyway, so we're doing that. We're going to take you with us as we head up to drop off the van.
Yes.
And then on our way back home, we'll show you everything. Hopefully stuff gets done here real quick, and then we'll be ready to finish up the project and get ready off to our next adventure.
Are you just kind of just weird this week, waiting for the van to get done?
Yes, I keep
You can't do anything.
No, I can't do anything because I had to put all the cabinets, as they were not even finished, I had to put all the cabinets in the van so the install company could see where things were going so they could put all the components and stuff in.
Mm-hmm.
So every time I walk out into the driveway, I go,
The van's gone.
that's right. Yeah, it's
So all this
being worked
wood
out.
is waiting for more projects.
Yep. Well, we're getting ready to head up to Ham Lake, Minnesota, to Sota Solar
to get all of our stuff installed. And Kim and I are having to drive separate because we have to leave the van for a few days to get everything installed. So here we go. Can't see you. Kim's telling me to get going. It's like, well, get out of my way. Here we go. Next stop. Van install. I don't know why I'm so nervous today, but I am. I needed that song this morning. First one I turned on the radio. Hi. Well,
50-mile-an-hour winds. Let's go get it.
let's go get the van. That's going to be fun coming home.
There's a reason I didn't do much with my hair today because I knew I was going to be blown to pieces.
Well, we could barely walk out of the door without getting blown away, so
I'm pulling out.
off we go.
Let's get going.
Okay. Travel food, pizza, and Casey's.
Gotta get protein somehow.
Yeah, I guess. The donuts didn't look too good, so pizza it is. Now it's a chair.
Oh, sorry. Here. That's the dogs.
All right, we're finally back here with Sean from Soda Solar. That's Minnesota Solar, and we gave him a challenge, that's for sure, in dealing with our van. So, Sean, thanks so much for all the efforts in getting things done. We'll kind of go through and explain what he's been doing the past 7 days, and go through some of the upgrades for the van.
Sure.
All right, well, let's go inside and check it out. Yeah, well, obviously we look a lot different than what the system looked like before when we brought it. And so, Sean, go ahead and explain everything that you did in here.
Sure. I actually had no idea what it looked like before, but I like to think it's better. So what we have here is the two Battleborn batteries that were there before.
Yep, those were ours.
Yep, and that represents 200 amp hours of battery capacity. And then we built a custom 560 amp hour battery here, which takes up a lot less space. It has the Dowley BMS on here, active cell balancer, because the balancers in these aren't all that great, but a lot of people do. This is pretty standard. And this is all constructed out of 2020 extruded aluminum, very similar to the rack that is up on the roof, just this is half the size of it. And this creates both the frame of the battery and the compression on the battery, because the cells are supposed to stay compressed. And then also what's nice about it is there's little feet that are part of the 2020 extruded aluminum system that also then secure it to the floor. So as us dads like to say, this is not going anywhere.
Exactly.
So then let's start with I guess some of the other upgrades that we did. We started with upgrading the wiring, the main wiring from 1-aught to 2-aught. That's because the Multiplus is capable of using that much current, and so we always want to make sure things stay safe. So we have 2-aught wiring coming all the way around here to the fuse. We keep the same fuse that was in there before. That's 250 amp. The Multiplus 2000 should be fused at 200 amps, so we're good there. So we put the shutoff right on the end of the links here. The BMV 712 connected right to the end of the links as well. This is a really efficient configuration that I can't say that we came up with the idea, but I think we popularized some of it. I've been seeing it more and more. We have a video out there. And the other thing that we do is we build a custom voltage adapter cable that enables the lights on the Lynx distributor. A lot of people pay for these, but the LEDs in here don't actually work. And what's nice about them is the whole point is if it's green, everything's good. If there's a problem with it, if there's a problem with any of the fuses, they will indicate red, and then the main power light will also turn red, letting you know not only is there a problem, but where the problem is, which is very important. Especially, it seems like problems tend to show themselves at the worst times. It sounds like you guys had some problems before with the next bit. The other little thing we did, and Explorers.life, I think really popularized this, is using these, there's terminals on the back side of the links here. We just went off of that and then used an existing breaker that you had to protect the main 12 volt system. So here are all of your fuses for the lights, all of your 12 volt loads. And this was in place before. We just pulled it out of that compartment where it was before, pulled it out to here so you can access it if or when a fuse blows. Then next we added a breaker panel. Currently I have the 20 amp off, but we did a 20 amp circuit and then the existing 15 amp circuit. So the 15 amp one is everything that's existing. The 20 amp is the new line that's ran. The reason why I did a 20 amp line there was, I know you didn't ask for it, but being that it was a kitchen outlet, you may want to use induction cooking or something like that, and just running the heavier gauge wire makes sense, and that's what I would do. And then your existing 30 amp charge controller, ran that in there, and then all that wiring is of course run through that raceway, which works really good for if you want to change something or work on something. You can just pull the wire out and tuck it right back in there and it keeps it nice and neat and maintainable. Then your Sterling DC-DC charger for your alternator. Tested that, that's working good. The only issue I found there was I think the fan might be going on it. Maybe you heard that before. Have you ever heard that run? Okay, bit, yeah. It seemed a little loud. Then lastly, this is as requested, which was a temperature controlled fan that is yet to be installed because you guys aren't sure exactly where that hole is going to go. But the way this works is it's a PWM pulse width modulation fan controller. There's little directions on the back for how to configure the dip switches for when the fan basically goes from normal mode like it is now to full on mode. And I think by default it'll do it at about 35 Celsius, which is pretty warm, but this box can get pretty warm And that's why the plan is to use that fan. And of course, the MultiPlus 2000 inverter charger. That is really nice. Gives you a lot of capability. I mean, pretty much you can do anything you want in here. We also have, there's a VE bus smart network for all of this, so you can access everything through your phone and really kind of get almost a little bit like a Servo GX kind of experience out of it, where you can at a glance see what every part of your system's doing now. It's really
awesome.
good. And then of course the MultiPlus 2000 is connected to the 30 amp shore power connection back here on the outside. So what questions do you have?
Yeah. How does it work? I have no idea. I
Okay.
wish I was you, because it's like I have no idea what all of this stuff is.
So
I mean, I got it from before. I mean, I have the gist of it in my brain, but it just seems like a lot, obviously more complex than it ever was. So.
you for recording, but if one of you has a phone available. Okay, so this is the Dali BMS app. So because this is a series battery, we're going to click on series, and we got to wake this guy up. Connect to it there. It's so that's the current state of your battery. Mainly, what's important here is it kind of can act as a sanity check to your other battery monitor, the Victron one. It should be somewhat similar. The other thing that's important about it is it'll tell you your cell voltages, and they're pretty darn balanced and close there at 3.64 or 5 or so. At that high state of charge, that balance level is really good. Think of electricity like water, right? Your wires are like a hose.
Okay.
And so amps is the amount of water, like the pure atoms of water.
Okay.
The volume of water flowing through that hose.
Okay.
Okay. Your voltage is like water pressure.
Okay.
So you'd imagine, so those cables there,
The red ones.
yeah, the red and the black ones, they're pretty thick. They can push a lot of amps, but the pressure is relatively low. That's why they need to be so thick, because a lot of energy needs to or water in this case, it needs to go through them. Meanwhile, we charge it with wires that are no thicker than that. The reason why is the pressure is so much higher. So the same volume of water can go through. Does that make any sense? I already lost you?
Very lost.
Sorry.
This is how bad I am. I'm sorry. It's not
Okay.
you. It's just
Hello.
my brain. I am not the science person at all. This
Well, I
is
feel
what I
like-
was in
okay.
high school science too. I'm like, what? Wow. It's like a Charlie Brown conversation. Sorry.
No, it's
offense.
okay. Hank. I don't know. I feel like, I don't know.
I
Like,
kind of get it.
like if you ever done, everyone's done this. You take a garden hose, you put your thumb over the
Right.
end, right?
Right.
What happens?
It stops the water
Well, you let a little bit out.
and it leaks out a little bit.
Well, it doesn't just leak out, right?
sprays out.
It sprays out.
Right.
Right, because the pressure is,
Don't laugh at me. Look at you.
because the pressure has gone up. And there's just a little, that same amount of water, when it's in that big hose, it just trickles out. But when you put your thumb over it, it sprays out, because the same amount of water is trying to get through a smaller space.
Got it. And that's what this guy is.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the
that's-
sprayer guy with a finger.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. The only difference between water and electricity is if you make a mistake on water, I'm not sure, I don't think really anything bad happens. If you make a mistake on electricity, you set wires on fire. That's,
You have floods with water.
yeah. When you asked about regular maintenance, I would say check the battery, the battery mains, and any of the major connections that you can see. Just if you just wiggle the cables a little bit, you feel something move. You're like, oh, something's backed out there. That's about all you probably have to do.
Just tighten them.
Yeah, just tighten them. The other, I guess, item of note here is the way this connection's made. This is the BMS here. This is on the negative, so ideally this is fine to touch this here, but just to protect it. But I also wanted it maintainable, accessible, so I didn't heat shrink this down. There's just a piece of heat shrink tubing covering that.
Okay.
But that's how that connection there is made. Checking, just making sure like this connection is tight. It shouldn't back out, but make sure that that is good and tight. That's just a,
That's your 3D printer.
that's a
right?
10 millimeter. Yeah, I 3D printed this.
That's pretty cool. We watched that video last night.
Oh, that's right.
Getting everything with primer and trying to prime all my patched holes and all the bare wood and get that dry now that we have a couple of 70 degree, almost 80 degrees today. So that's crazy. So doing that, and then going to be putting a finish coat of orange on our refrigerator stand and the toilet box here in a little bit. But first, it's time to keep priming. Just wanted to take advantage of a couple really nice weather days with sunshine and warm temperatures to finish up painting the base color here inside the van. We're supposed to get some rain later today and through the weekend, so I'll do the other painting inside the garage. But right now, I've got the base color going on over the primer, and once that's done, the inside will be pretty much good to start installing some furniture and the overhead mule bags, and we'll start to get it looking a little bit more like home. It's time to make the big leap. Orange. Here we go. It goes on nice. Well, I gotta tell you, orange looks awesome, but it's a hard color to paint. So I'm on like coat number 3 on this one cabinet, and it looks like that's pretty close to being good. Hopefully it cures and hardens up good so it doesn't chip. Two down, 2 to go. Comfortable?
Feel like it.
Starting to look like a van again. Getting things installed, finished painting. Still got some wires to do, but looking good. L-Track is good stuff, but sometimes it could be a real pain in the ass. So having to reconfigure the bolts and probably gonna have to drill some new holes and patch the other ones up. It's not, that's the way when I first designed it, it was sitting. When I went to put it in again, they weren't lining up, so try again.
Hi. About ready to put on some drawer pulls for the refrigerator stand toilet box, and I made a kind of a simple drilling jig. It's got a couple guides here, if you can see that, and it slides on, and hopefully drill through these two holes, and it matches up with the holes on the drawer hardware, and that way I can do all 4 drawers and attempt to get the handles all in the exact same spot. So here we go. Okay, I got the jig in place, and I got the appropriate size drill bit. 1 hole, 2 holes. So that's gonna look pretty good. Now I need to get another drill bit so that these will go down flush through the wood, and so that'll just be a hanger there, or a handle. I don't know if this is official, but I usually take the end of the drill bit and match it up to the end of whatever size of hole I'm needing, and that looks pretty good. So I'm thinking whatever size this is, 1/4 inch sounds right. We'll use that, drill through, it should work. One down. That looks close. And then take our screws and I don't know, it needs the long ones or the short ones. Maybe the short ones will work. Put a washer on that just to hold them good. Screws are in. 1 down, as they say.
that didn't go as planned. Not a very straight cut. For some reason the wood got squirrely, but we'll try to make it work. What the heck, everything else is kind of squirrely. Working on the trim cover for the air conditioner and trying to cover up the gaps that were in when the headliner was cut. So I got to cover those things, and there's some seams that I want to cover, and this pulls everything right up and keeps the ceiling nice and tight, and gets rid of a few flaws. So that's what I'm working on right now. Okay, stressful. Gotta cut a big square hole in the side of my nice solid bed box, but that's for the fan to go in there, so needs to be done. Keep all the components that are inside the box cool and keep some air circulating there, that maybe it'll help stop any humidity and things. So here we go. And yes, I made sure there wasn't any electronics behind this. Well, hey, update here on the bed platforms, kind of explain what we're doing. We have 6-inch mattresses, and we've always seen, and we've dealt with this too in our Vegas, is that when you lift the bed platform up to get access underneath, it always is like the mattress just is in the way. You pinch it, you can't get the thing up all the way. So we decided to come out from the wall 6 inches, which is a total change from what we had planned on doing. So cut parts of the bed platform and added more supports. So the main part of the bed platform will go here. We'll have hinges down there, and that'll lift up and it'll give enough clearance for the mattress to be in that pocket and still let the access door, the bed platform, come up all the way. And we'll do that on this side too. So I'm drilling a very little pilot hole so I can get these very little screws started in there. And then I'm attaching the piano hinge to the bed platform. So that was tedious. I don't know how many thousands of screws go into a piano hinge, but it was a lot. So time for coffee break, then we'll tackle Kim's side. But first, watch this. Cool. So with that said, let's talk about making the bed less likely to get mold. Okay guys, got a product here that we bought, no sponsorship, but the reviews were really awesome. And it's from Dendry, and it is a condensation control ventilation that goes on the bed platform, and it's supposed to stop getting that nasty mold under our mattresses. So we're gonna try this and put it into our van. One of the fun things for this company is that you get all these little secret envelopes and messages. There was another envelope inside the box that said, don't open until after you've installed this, and then be ready to be happy. So, so we'll see. Says that the felt side goes up against your mattress, so the plastic little doodahs that are in this roll actually sit down on the plywood. So interesting. Comes in two sizes, queen and king, and then we're going to cut ours in half for our two twin beds. This is really interesting stuff. Of course, the felt side, it goes against the mattress, but I'm just seeing how this is going to work in here, and just going to put it on the two bed sides here and see how that works. Of course, it'll be flipped this way when we do it for sure. That's pretty easy. Interesting stuff. These are kind of cushy, but the main thing for these is for airflow. And the manufacturer says, you know, this is obviously really slippery, that it's okay to staple them. Other people that have used this in their RVs have stapled it down just to keep it from sliding around, and they still had good results. So we're going to give it a shot and add it to the rest of the bed. And this isn't down yet, so we'll see how it fits with the mattress on it, how it looks. I think we're going to have to staple this down when we're raising up the access doors so it doesn't fall. That's my take. This is for our nightstand, and we'll probably have a cushion or pillows and stuff there, so I don't think we're going to need that on here, but we do have enough to do this center section, which is cool. Okay, we've installed it. Open it up.
Skittles!
Oh, nice.
It's got an RV on it.
Huh.
And a tent and a campfire. Cool. Stickers.
Stickers.
Thanks so much.
May your travels always lead to amazing adventures and howling good times. Stay safe, stay healthy. Bill and Laura and Wolfie.
Kelly Wolfie.
Yeah.
Dead dry. Working on building the kitchen cabinet, doing a test fitting with 3 sides, and I need to trim a little bit so it'll fit in, and after that I think we'll be pretty darn close. Here's going to be the access panel to get out our water tanks. Just have to unhook, pull over, and bring them out, and we can empty and fill. Back in there, hook up quick disconnects, put the door back in. Okay, so here is the kitchen cabinet that's starting to take shape. Water compartment, sink on top, kitchen drawers, and there'll be a little flip out sponge holder. And then this will get eventually cut and made into a cabinet door front. All right, flooring is in. Flooring is in. So that's looking pretty doggone good. I'm dizzy now. I'll stop. Time to make some cabinet drawers, and carpenters, if you're watching this, I apologize in advance. I am not a carpenter by trade. Now my dad was. I picked up some stuff from him over the years, but I'm not a cabinet maker. I don't have cabinet making power tools, so we're doing the best we can. And well, giggle along with us or go, "Yeah, that's not bad for a rookie." Let's see how we made them. I'm not a plumber either, so it was time to head over to our local plumbing shop and ask one of the old timers if he could figure out how to hook up our plumbing system, the faucet, the sink, all the other stuff. So I was giving him a little bit of a head scratching one morning. So let's head over there to Watson's Plumbing and see what happens there.
I got that on there.
Okay, so that's the
gonna
one
be
we
plugged
shut
up.
up. Okay, so then we go this guy.
Into this right here, eh?
Right.
So, do you have the fitting that goes on here or not?
No, I don't.
I don't know what the heck that one is. I'll have to just see if that's ½ inch. Looks like ½ inch. Let me just go. I'll just grab something.
Okay, who am I?
Well, hopefully that's everything I need. It's like a box of octopuses. Did I ever tell you I hate plumbing?
Yes.
Well, let me tell you
How did
again.
you marry into a plumbing family then?
Well, you're not helping much. Everybody's retired, that's why. Can you imagine doing this when it's 30 degrees out? This stuff will be
Hard as a rock.
It's hard as a rock right now.
People do this stuff. So explain what this accumulator does.
Well, the water pump pumps the water out of the tank into the pump and then into the accumulator, and there's a bladder in here that fills up with water and it's pressurized. So when you turn the faucet on, instead of it automatically triggering the water pump, it takes the pressure and pushes the water through into your faucet before kicking on the water pump to refill this. So without this accumulator, your pump is constantly running every time you open your faucet or your shower nozzle. So this allows you to just, get a little bit of water.
Has some reserves.
Yeah, without the darn pump going on over. Yeah, so that's that. Well, looks like I got everything wired and hooked up except for obviously the gray and the clear tanks, and this will go into the faucet as the supply line for the faucet. The water pump is wired up and running, so I'm going to throw some water in one of the tanks and see how it works eventually, not right this second. Well, this has been an exhausting couple months redoing the van interior, and we're down to the last big scary thing. It's cutting up a couple $100 piece of butcher block for the top for the kitchen, and this is kind of like the last big hurdle, big chore to do, and then we can get the kitchen installed and hooked up, get the plumbing hooked up, the electrical to this, and the conversion, the remodel is just about done, although you can go through a big punch list of things that still need to be done or fixed or touched up. So, but that's with any major project. So this is the big one today. Gonna try to mark this and get it cut, and then come up with a template for cutting out the hole for the sink, which scares me more than trimming the piece of wood to size. So here we go.
even though this is a relatively brand new blade, it's not cutting this hardwood. I'm gonna have to go over and get a better blade for the saw. I don't want to screw up this cut, so that's what I'm gonna do. All right, new blade. Let's try it again. Okay, so we learn. I bought a brand new saw blade, and it was a different brand, and I don't know if they put the labels on the other side, or maybe it's for a different kind of saw, but one of our viewers pointed out that maybe the saw blade was in backwards, and it was not using the cutting blades to cut it, and by gosh, he was right. Of course, he said he'd done it before, that's why he knew. So, lesson learned, sanded off, we're good. And so, with that said, a nice new saw blade that can cut backwards as well as forward. Okay, here's where I either make a nice countertop with a sink or a very expensive piece of firewood. So getting ready to cut this out. I'm going to do a plunge cut here and then get my jigsaw and finish it out. We're doing the sink lip on the outside, so I won't have to really worry about an exact fancy cut in here because it's all going to be hidden. Here goes nothing. Not pretty, but it's done. Moment of truth. Well, it's in there. Here we go. Time to step into the plywood confessional. I think I earned a beer today. Got the sink cut out, not pretty, but it's covered thankfully, since we decided to put the rim on top of the counter. And the faucet is in place too, the hole cut. I probably will never use that hole saw again for anything, but when you need the tool, you need the tool. It sure made it a lot easier. So we're getting there, pretty close. I gotta stain the countertop today. That'll be my next chore. So let's go do that, because the instructions say that you need to seal it or put a stain on it within 48 hours of opening the package. So we're gonna do that, get that out of the way, and then it's beer 30, Okoli Maluna, Pauhana. All right, time to adhere the countertop to the kitchen cabinet. Going to use a combination of construction adhesive and a few screws to keep things in place.
Are you ready?
Yes. Hi, it's JK and Kim in the camper van, and wow, what a transformation.
Geez, when did we start this? Like March of last year?
Yeah, about 4 months ago.
I say we, but it was all him.
Well, not all me. We had some help. We did a lot of things that are brand spanking new, and it was quite a lot more work than I think we anticipated. And we threw a lot of work on company up in towards the cities to do our electrical and all those upgrades, and that was a lot more work than what he was thinking. So, but it's done. It's all done now.
It's amazing. I love the orange cabinets. I mean, they're so bright and cheerful.
Mm-hmm.
I love the configuration. We're not the ones that are going to be putting a divider down and making it into a full bed. These are genuine, like, twin beds. They're smaller than a twin.
Yep.
His is longer than mine, and it's designed to be that way because now we can make it a dinette too, which I think is, I can't wait to use this. This is going to be so fun.
So it gives us a couple places now to sit other than trying to climb up on a fully made bed. So it's given us a lot more options for things and for the dogs, and lots more storage and cabinet drawers.
The drawers have turned out just amazing. We got water back into our rig, so you installed the water pump and got the jerry cans underneath. We got the toilet in here now installed, and we're going to do that once and for all. We've had it for a while, but it's always been buried in the back, and we've always used the restrooms in a gas station or the rest stop or the campground.
Right.
And we're going to try to do this so we can do more boondocking. We've got solar now. We've got more battery power. We've
Air
got
conditioning.
Air conditioning. Oh, I can't wait for a hot summer day camping where I can turn on the air conditioning. Most people want to be outside in the hot. Yeah, most people want to be outside in the hot, and I don't.
Oh well. But anyway, so that's that. We put a ton of work into it, and why don't we do a real quick recap of what we've done, and we'll kind of wrap that part up with the last pieces and the last bits of getting ready for our big shakedown cruise. and it's going to be an amazing trip if everything works right.
It's closer to home, but we're going to have some fun, and we probably won't use the air conditioning much. It's going to be cooler, so we're excited for the layout and just to see how it all jives with us and the dogs all in this place.
Yep. So thanks for watching, subscribing, being a part of our journeys and this whole big renovation series. Thanks for watching. If you haven't seen that, we have a, what do you call it? Where you put all the videos into one category.
We have a playlist.
Oh yeah, playlist. And you can watch all the videos if you dare.
From beginning to end.
Right. So we're loving this so far, and come along with us, and we'll show you kind of in a fast, speeded up way, how.
Sped up way.
Yeah, sped up way. Sped up way. How this went from, yeah, an empty van to what you see now.
Yeah. Awesome job.
Thank you. Alright, we're finally back here with Sean from Soda Solar. That's Minnesota Solar. And we gave him a challenge, that's for sure, in dealing with our vans.
We just went off of that and then used an existing breaker that you had to protect the main 12-volt system.
There we go. We'll see how it fits. Here we go. Well, it is the moment of truth. Got the water tanks hooked up. The gray water's empty. I filled the clear water up about a half, just under a half of the 6 gallons, 7 gallons that it holds. Just enough to test the water system to make sure there are no leaks, that the water pump and the accumulator tank are working, and that the sink works, the faucet works. So this is the major step right now in completing the van. I've got a towel here just in case, but I'm feeling confident. I made sure that I tightened everything up, all the fittings, but just you never know. So we're gonna give it a go this morning. Hopefully it all works and we don't have any leaks, and we'll be checking that one off of the list of things to finish up in the van. Okay, here goes nothing. Turning on the water pump. Got water flowing into the tanks. I turn that off and double check from outside. There is a little drip, and I think it's coming from the shutoff valve that's located up in here, of course. Yep. Need to grab a open end wrench and tighten that thing up. Trying to find it. Everything seemed so easy to get to when the sink was out. That's the culprit down in there. Well, I think I might have gotten it. Ugh. Better now than on the road. Just trying to burn the water. It's making me have to pee. What are you doing, Kim?
Playing with fire.
I know, you're dangerous.
I'm a pyro.
Oh, you're melting the ends of our new ties, huh?
I think so.
Do you think so?
Yeah, I think that might work.
Ooh.
It's our cushion.
Oh, good Lord. Are you serious? Wow.
Happy birthday to me. I have a cushion.
Careful, when you open it up, it's going to
know.
explode. This is a cushion for the top of our toilet box slash bench.
Even the littlest box. I don't know how they do this. It's like
Suction.
that
Space bag kind
space
of.
bag thing,
Yeah.
yeah. They have super suckers instead of vacuum. The cover, mighty wrinkly, might I add. This was supposed to be like a full leather.
It's
Still,
full, all right.
it's still gonna be very dog.
It's got little sticky bumps on it.
Double wrap. Yep. This is like opening a present. There's a present inside of a present inside of a present.
It's a big block of cheese.
You should have. Boy, this is
That's something.
Oh Lord! Help!
Sure.
Help! I'm getting attacked. Woo! By a cushion. Does that feel flat? You look picture perfect. Look at. I think I buy the food too. Just thinking it that way. Yeah. And then you get a perch to look outside and everything.
Well, that's gonna be awesome.
So it doesn't seem like it's going to be a lot of work when you're just like, oh, let's just change the bed and let's just do this, that, and the other. But the hours that it took to really hone this in and make use of every inch of this space is a lot of work.
Right. And especially when you're not doing it all the time, you don't have the
CNC machine,
right, the
yeah.
computer-aided design stuff and lathes and laser cutters and all that to make it precision. This is
Old
a
school.
old school folk art,
It's not perfect,
handcrafted.
but it's beautiful, and I love it, and I think you did an amazing job. I cannot wait to use it. It feels different in here, even though there's in the idea of it, it's just a small change, but it still feels huge, like a huge change in here.
Yeah, it is. So thanks for watching this video as we officially wrap up the renovation of our 2019 Ford Transit High Roof 148. And
The
join
epic
us-
van, what is it?
Epic van makeover.
There it is. Where's your cup?
Right here. So be sure to subscribe, like, comment, please. We'd love to hear your comments. And
Tell your friends.
Yeah.
We're just trying to have fun, travel, and kind of getting into this whole thing. Eventually, the dream is to do more and more, so we'll just keep at it. So thanks for following.
Right. And if you see anything that you might want to add to your van or your camper, we have links down in the description for some of the Amazon products, and we'd appreciate that you use those links. So till next time,
See ya.
bye.